Choosing the right dividend stocks can be a pain, especially if you want to buy a stock and just move on. A lot of the time, choosing companies with a high yield seems great on paper, but it becomes hard to not worry about the underlying business if the stock price continues to depreciate. Because of this, I've compiled 3 dividend stocks, albeit not with the highest of yields, that I am certain you can buy and hold forever and not have to worry about the stock price drastically depreciating. In fact, with all of these companies, depending on your time horizon, the stock price should increase with the markets as they rally, making them great long-term purchases for investors who have the time. Before we start this video, make sure to like and subscribe if you're new to the channel because I will be posting dividend stock videos just like this one every few days. The first stock on the list is the Coca-Cola Company, ticker KO. This stock is the epitome of boring dividend stocks, but that isn't a bad thing. The Coca-Cola Company has robust dividend payments that it's paid for many years that come from its healthy brand recognition and huge market space in the beverage world. This isn't just limited to carbonated drinks as many people think, as Coca-Cola has a diversified product portfolio of drinks in many sectors such as juices. Often known as one of Warren Buffett's biggest and most infamous positions, the Coca-Cola Company has been returning a grand dividend for decades and has increased its dividend for the last 60 years straight. Because of this, it is a dividend king and it won't be losing that title anytime soon, so you can count on more increases. The payout ratio is also around 56%, which isn't too high, showing room for growth. The Coca-Cola Company currently trades at around $58.44 per share, which isn't hugely expensive historically, and it has a starting yield of 3.15%. The 10-year dividend CAGR of this stock is 5.34%, which isn't super high, but for a company who's been doing increases for over half a century, it certainly isn't bad. It does have a relatively high PE ratio for what you're getting, but you are always going to be paying a premium for companies like Coca-Cola and Pepsi because you are paying for a reliable dividend and a company that is sure to exist within the next few decades with a solid revenue stream. Over the past 5 years, the stock is up 26%, which is worse than the broader market, but it also fluctuates far less with the beta of just 0.55. This means it roughly fluctuates half of what the S&P 500 fluctuates, making it a no-worries stock. The Coca-Cola Company is tried and true, and although it isn't a very interesting stock, it will give your portfolio a reliable dividend boost and more stability, especially during bear markets, which is when recession-proof companies like Coca-Cola really shine when compared to their more speculative counterparts. Coke also has a 70% institutional investment, which isn't super high, but it's also pretty decent, showing that super investors like Warren Buffett think Coke is a good long-term holding. This company is not a fun nor a super lucrative short-term play, but for investors with a long time frame, this stock is a consumer staple no-brainer. The second stock on this list is also a consumer staple stock, Procter & Gamble, ticker PG. Procter & Gamble was founded in 1837 and is probably one of the bluest of blue chip companies. This stock is very similar to the Coca-Cola Company as a stock. Like Coca-Cola, it is a defensive stock that is good to help balance a tech and speculative heavy portfolio. Procter & Gamble sells a variety of consumer goods like pet foods, personal care and health products, toothpaste, shampoo, and other cleaning agents. Procter & Gamble owns a diversified portfolio of many brands, meaning when you buy something at a store that has to do with cleaning products or personal care, there's a good chance it is owned by PG. There are literally so many brands PG owns, which is why I cannot list them, but I will scroll through them on screen for you to look at, and as you can see, PG owns some very recognizable brands. Procter & Gamble, like Coke, is a dividend king and has been growing their payments for 68 years, which is longer than many of us have been alive. The 10-year CAGR is also similar to Coke, that being 4.77%, which is good enough. The starting yield is roughly 2.5%, which is more than the market average, but also isn't exceptional for people who need a lot of dividend income. The payout ratio is just above 60%, which isn't low, but also leaves some room for slower dividend growth, which the company will almost certainly do to keep up its 68-year track record. Procter & Gamble trades at a P ratio of just under 26, which like Coke is high for the growth you will be getting. This high P ratio is for the same exact reason as Coke, it's because it is a premium company you will be getting ownership of when you buy shares. PG has an institutional investment percent of 65%, which is similar to Coke, but again isn't astoundingly great. Warren Buffett also has a position in PG, but unlike Coke, it is a pretty small position. Overall, both of the stocks I've mentioned so far serve the same purpose: pay an ultra-reliable and steadily growing dividend, help counterbalance any tech-heavy portfolios, and ensure that investors never become worried about their shares depreciating to a high degree. Lastly, the final company on this list is very different to the other two. At first, I wanted to make this last company a high paying stock like ARCC, but I might make a separate video for high paying dividend stocks in the future just like this one. So if you want that, let me know in the comments. Anyways, this final stock is the Microsoft company, ticker MSFT. Microsoft is a technology company that focuses on both hardware and software services, selling PCs, software for phones, and other technological services that assist with business solutions and software development. They also have a large stake in the gaming industry, mainly because of Xbox, and the stake is only set to grow if they acquire Activision Blizzard, but who knows if that deal will ultimately go through. Out of these three stocks, Microsoft is definitely the most speculative, with a P ratio of 34, which is mainly due to people betting that Microsoft will be able to drive up revenue through AI products. They are doing this by adding to their current products by using advanced AI capabilities, potentially making them more interesting to consumers. Growth of this company is crazy though, somewhat justifying this high PE. Just this year, the stock is up nearly 40%, driven by increased earnings per share and profits. Talking about the dividend, the stock yields under 1% currently, but has yielded over 1% before, meaning it is both less than the market average and far less than the other stocks I've mentioned. The 5-year CAGR of the dividends is 10%, which is good, but since their dividend is still low and their payout ratio is under 30%, high growth can be expected as long as the company continues to perform. Just this year, they hiked their dividend by 10% as well, showing that this growth is still active. This stock is just as much of a long-term play as the other stocks on this list in my opinion, as Microsoft is poised to be an innovation leader in the technology business, especially in regards to artificial intelligence. Their dividend is growing, but starting yield is supremely low, meaning for income-oriented investors, this probably isn't the stock for you, but for people with a long time frame, this stock is a must-have in the technology category. I hope you've enjoyed these three picks. I understand they have relatively low yields, so I will probably make a video similar to this one, but with companies that yield over 5%. If you agree with the picks, let me know in the comments, but if you think otherwise, let me know as well. I'd love to hear about your opinion. Thank you for watching, and thank you everyone for 300 subscribers. It is super appreciated. See you in the next video. Goodbye.